Like, I didn't even know that StreamYard changed that music, and it was really gay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Coil. What happened to the old music?
Remember this day, for it will be yours for all time.
We have shown them that a trembling hand can become a fist. We have challenged the idea that a slave must always know his place, excepting Rod and Lash because he was taught to accept it. We built their mighty republic with our hands and our blood and our lives. And we can see it fall at equal cost. You opened my eyes to this, Spartacus.
What lies beneath your feet? Sacred grounds, watered with tears of blood.
Shall we begin?
Shall we begin? Shall we begin?
Never give up in the darkest of times, no matter what you're dealing with, who you're dealing with, what situation you're in. Never fold, never kneel, never stop. Hurdles and obstacles are put in place in front of us for us to overcome. Sometimes we can do it ourselves, and sometimes we need help. But you do not face the trials and tribulations of life and fold. You don't face that hoovering hobgoblin, that manipulator that tried to destroy you and reduce your worth and reduce who you are. You don't face that and fold. You do not stop. You do not relent when it comes to defending yourself, your boundaries, your growth, who you are, who you know you were meant to be, who you have always dreamt yourself to be, and the potential of who you can become. You don't stop. Narcissist, toxic people are put into your life to be your cheerleaders. That is your advertising department. Those are the people that let you know you're in the wrong space. You're around the wrong types, that you can do better, that you can be better for yourself. Those are the types that advertise everything wrong about you. They're your trash collectors. Toxic and narcissistic people will gather every hater, every liar, every fake ass around you into their flying monkey groups, into their burning circus of narcissism camp, and basically drain all the poison from your life. Pay attention. Pay attention to who believes lies, who believes that you can't be the best version of yourself or that you are not who you say you are. Never, ever relent in the face of obstacles or others that want to drag you down. You are worth more. You've always been worth more, because if you weren't, then darkness would not have sent its minions after you to try and discourage you from becoming the best version of yourself you could possibly be. Because you are a shining light in the darkness of the world. Never forget that. We do not kneel and we suffer no fools.
Tells me he can get me out of this mess, but he's pretty sure you're fucked.
I mean, the Lord did say he'd get me out of this mess, and I'm trying to get out of it. Sorry for the background. Like, I'm in a situation where I know I haven't been around in a while, guys, and the reason for that was because my father was dying, and I had to take care of him. And before I even had a chance to mourn him, something else came up, which forced me into another situation where I lost some more, and I haven't had time to mourn, really. And during this time, I have the place that I'm in, we have to leave. So we're kind of an emergency situation. I do have savings up and we did put an application in for another apartment, and we are moving into another apartment, but we just need a little more help with the deposit. So there is a link for a GoFundMe posted in the chat. If you can help out, great. Share it if you can. Help if you can. Whatever you could do. Today we're gonna have some fun. Back once again is my cohort. Is the co-author of the Fandom Menace Volume 2, one of my best friends in all the world. I might be a little spiritually gay for him. All right, a little astral reach around's kind of happening. But that's what it is when you're around the man whose peen is so lean. They come from Alpha 16. So please, everyone, put your hands together for my good friend and yours, Immortal Motherfucking Coil.
What is happening, my savage friends? You are listening to the throats of Immortal Coil. Your oracle of whiskey mysticism, revolution is my name. Welcome in, welcome in. It's been a long time. I'm here to tell you that the reason that you have gone through so much shit is because the universe knows that you can take it and take it gracefully and build something out of it. I am living proof. Go ahead and ask. Steven, that was such a fucking powerful intro, dude. You gave me such a self-help boner. Yeah, I'm raging.
Are you behind a window or a bright shining light right now, Coil?
Would you like to see that? Yeah.
Yeah, to totally distorts like the entire field of vision. Yeah, could you do that?
I know everybody wants to fucking see that, right? I look like
I'm telling you, look at that sexy bastard. Listen, how can you not be spiritually gay for the savage?
Somewhere.
How have you been, dude? What have you been up to in the last month?
Well, life has been lifey. I had a guest that came through Washington, a very lovely person, and we were doing this sort of like dog sitting thing, and then right at the last minute, basically a homeowner accused me of some vandalism that I was not responsible for. So I found myself
watching somebody's dog, and then I destroyed a house. I didn't destroy the house. How are you
yeah, totally.
That doesn't.
Well, and it's just one of those things. So like I had like 10 successful sits before where everybody was just like, kissing my ass about how I handled the situation. And then bullshit happens with this one guy. And because he went and raised a stink about it, the site killed my profile and canceled all of my subsequent sits out until like June of this year. Because I don't know if the chat knows this. I don't know if I've talked about this enough. I am technically homeless. Like I don't have a job and I don't have anywhere to live. And I found myself outside for about a week.
He's a spiritual woodsman.
There you go. I'm just feral, you guys. Savage spirituality isn't just a bumper sticker slogan. It's something I've lived through. It's something I demonstrate, and the tenacity through which I come out the other side of it.
Dude, you just keep on overcoming shit after shit, dude. Like I love you so much, dude. Like I don't know how someone like you, I called you today because we're all going through it. A lot of us are, and you were so positive and upbeat. Like the first thing that you said was, "I'm going to get through this. I got a positive outlook. I'm going to get you." Like you had a vision.
Well, I've had several actually, and it's weird because, I'm going to tell like my grandpa story. So, my good friend Saint Shellback, he opened his home to me once again. He's like, "Hey, you don't got to sleep outside. Come and hang out." So everybody, send Shelly a hooker. He needs one.
He needs one. Astral reach around him.
Yeah. So I got to the end of the bus line, which terminates in Kitsap County, and then I had to walk 4 hours in the rain to reach this man's home. And what can I say? Again, it's a grandpa story for one day. But the other thing that's been going on is that all of my material possessions have been stripped of me. So I had a storage unit which I couldn't afford. That went to auction. I had a backpack with all my clothes in it. That got stolen. So I walked into Shellback's house with literally like the only possessions that I have is the clothes on my back. Shelly had a couple of things that I had left at his house. So, you know, like I have a guitar now and I have like another hat and a pair of socks kind of thing. But I really struggled with that. And then my guest that I was telling you about, she actually sent me like a care package, and it wasn't anything like super valuable, but it was some sentimental stuff. And I actually didn't end up asking her to tell me what exactly it was because I didn't want to like ruminate over what objects I might have
Edible
possessed
underwear?
that I don't right now.
Do
But
you think they were
long
edible
story
underwear?
short, it got snatched off the porch. So
Jeez.
again, it's like one of the yeah, it's like one of these things. Like I can't have anything that I had before, and then anything that's coming through doesn't seem to want to come to me, and it really fucked me up for a couple of days, Stephen. I actually had to go and like meditate and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I had some fifis about it, but once I got over my fifis, I started trying to analyze a larger purpose, and it's kind of like,
Right.
well, yeah, you have to drop your old life, you have to shed your old skin, you have to let go of everything that's attaching you to fucking planet Earth, and that's like some airbender wisdom right there. For the next window. So
Yep.
I also found out that all my legal stuff is done. Like all I basically have to do is pay a court fee.
That's
so
incredible,
I am no
dude.
longer, yeah, I'm no longer tethered. I'm no longer anchored. I can fucking walk anywhere these days.
Train
and,
Wreck Express.
It's gonna happen.
Now it's a
sooner
go,
than
right?
later. It is, yeah. Green light, sir. Fucking yeah. Go ahead.
Yesterday we were talking about when you and I were on the phone talking about the Trainwreck Express. Freaking my girlfriend sent me an ad for a Winnebago.
Yes.
It's like if Coyle and I drive around the country in a Winnebago.
Oh, we're gonna come to your house. We're gonna eat your food.
Your food. Yes. And then we're gonna convince
we're
you
gonna
of your
build
work.
couch forts.
So, but I was like, if we end up traveling the country in a Winnebago, we have to like Spaceballs the living hell out of that thing. All right, there's
you know we will.
There's
we're
no
gonna
way.
replicate that shit. Yeah, dude. Liquid Schwartz can in the dash, everything. And that's liable to happen sooner rather than later.
I want a license plate that says "We break for money." Like I want, like it's got to be everything. It's got to be. Everything.
We got to get a shitty stencil of like a train and just like spray paint the side of it. Like
yes.
It's gonna be great, dude. And this is liable to happen sooner rather than later, man. I have no tethers, no ties. Everything's
beautiful. So
wherever I may roam.
Man, look, the way that you that's the same attitude that I've had, that like my girlfriend, like she's been amazing, and like we're not quitting, because there was a point where it was like, all right, with the remaining money that we have, then you can go this way and I'll go that way, like it's just as long as you and the kiddies are safe. But she was refusing to give up. She was like, no, we're not breaking up the family, we're not doing that, and it's been a fight ever since. But your attitude, that's the same that she has. It's the same that I had, that I adopted. Like I was down when everything kind of fell apart not even a week ago. But at some point you've got to look to the future. You've got to think better. You've got to know that you can get things done, you've got to keep that positive outlook. Got to keep your vibrations high. You've got to like know in your mind, in your head, that you are going to achieve what you need to achieve, and do whatever you need to do. And that changed my whole attitude. Well, so here, go ahead, brother.
Well, we were talking about that as the tenet of manifestation in our talk yesterday. Now, one of our really good friends, Shivani Patel, and you guys can follow her on Instagram. She's another amazing life coach.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking about the power of visualization and the fact that in order to manifest, you actually have to picture very clearly the reality that you desire and just literally step into it. Mm-hmm. And the clarity of thought and the type of emotion, like the vibration level of your emotion, determines the quality of the next thing that you step into. And if you have like 500 thoughts, then that's 500 things the universe has to sort through. And that's why meditation, visualization, journaling, vision boards, getting as clear as fucking possible about what you want and what you desire and what you think you deserve out of what you desire determines the outcome.
Absolutely. Before we continue on, because that's a great direction to go in, Coil. I want to say hi to MC Mike Does, channel member out there in the chat. So Mike, we need to hope that Kevin shows up. All right, we're from the same crew.
Yeah.
There are now channel member emojis in the chat. Okay, and I really want to go over this while Kevin, and we need to go over this while Kevin's here. It's very important that we do that while Kevin's here. So if you guys know where Kevin Yang is,
get on his ass, you guys. Yeah,
and like harass Kevin. Okay, Kevin, look, listen. Here's Kevin. He changed the name to Kevin Theo, and so he's not Kevin Yang anymore. I'm going to call him Kevin Yang anyway. But
should be Kevin Wang, dude.
Kevin, look at this! Look at this man's YouTube channel. He's so successful. It's 6.97K subscribers. He describes himself as, I have lived in various countries of the world, including USA, Canada, Singapore, Japan, and South Korea. I speak 4 languages, officially coming from a multicultural background, namely English, French, Korean, and Mandarin Chinese. I often represent myself proudly as Canadian or Asian Canadian in culture and heritage, but currently living in Australia. So,
fuck. He's hanging out with Lethal Lightning, man.
Kevin's hanging out with anybody he wants. That is an Asian man, an Asian bodybuilder.
I am surprised that this guy doesn't have like 900 children. Look at him.
How did any narcissist devalue Kevin?
I don't know.
That narcopath must have been a hell of a trick, or that man had like one hell of a heart. You know what I mean? In order to, because that's just look at him, ladies, guys. You don't have to look. It's all right. It's a Coil guy got this. We got this for you, ladies. Look at that. Look at that picture. All right, that's a man right there, and he's an Orthodox Christian man. All right, values out the wazoo, and a banana hammock like that. Okay, like this. What more could you ask for, ladies? What more could you possibly want?
The complete package.
It's literally the complete package. How did some narcopath not respect him? How did he not know his worth? How did he not know his worth? I don't know. Kevin, where are you, buddy? Because we need you. Good to see you, Mike. Thank you so much. Didn't mean to wave a banana hammock in your face. Yeah, what's up? What's up, Sabab? Good to see you back. Yeah, I mean, I'm partly
awesome
back
avatar.
because awesome avatar. I really miss you guys, and I really miss streaming. But Dad died, and some other things happened. I'm another damn GoFundMe. I'm going to cry about that later. I don't feel like talking about that. But what's up? Yes. Listen, hope that Kevin shows up. Hope that Kevin shows up, because we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about, Parrothead, today's show.
Some merchandise reveal.
We have new Dragonstorm merchandise that we're going to be coming out with, and it's for Kevin. What's up, Jills? Good to see you.
Hey, sweetie. How you doing?
Hail to the Dragonstorm harem.
Hail to the head of the harem.
The head of the harem. My bad. Mortal Coil has decreed that you got a promotion.
That's right.
So
you're in charge.
When you were talking about when you're talking about like picturing things in your head, that's the one thing I've heard it before. A couple things in the past. One was money comes, money goes, and Lacey, that's how Lacey was talking about that. But the one thing that Shivani, that's why I love the ladies in my life. Shivani and Lacey, those are the ladies in my life. They're incredible women. And Shivani had said, if you want to live a better life, like if you need to picture yourself there, you need to act like it, you need to be it, you need to already be there. And then Lacey had said, like, you have to be there. I'm already there. I've already got what I need. We're already in the apartment. We're already doing what we have to do. Like, that was, and it really, it like picturing where you need to be and what you want is not only the key to manifestation, but also real quick. So Gills, who is a creator on TikTok. She's one of the Dragonstorm rogues. I'll introduce her to you guys soon. She's over in the Instagram group, and she's also a narcissistic abuse awareness creator. And she had put out this video, Coil, and this is I want to get your take on this. Okay. She had put out a video where she said, "Why does it seem like the narcissist always gets what they want?" And she theorizes that because they live in lies, because they live in that delusion and grandiosity, that they need, like, their world is their lie, that they're manifesting what they want. And the law of attraction, in my would state that, would it not? Even lie or not, like that type of personality or not. Is now, what do you think about that? Do you think that the narcissist is manifesting its victims and the things that it wants in life?
So I do have a couple of thoughts about that. Number one, anything that they manifest is shallow and temporary because they are not doing so with love. Number two, typically the way that they manifest is through more powerful creators, i.e. the survivors. We're going to be talking about empathy and stuff down the line, but if you think about the let's use the Kevin example, right? You see this guy who's in amazing physical shape, yet somebody convinced him to devalue himself. And typically narcs will attach themselves to talented people. And not that they can't become talented people themselves, but they usually tend to propel themselves through life through subterfuge. We see that all the time in the political arena with political narcissists. In fact, like the human species is the only species that will follow an insane leader just because of the charisma and the promise that we don't have to worry about certain high-level things and we can just kind of go about building our matchsticks and chewing our cud or whatever you want to call it.
No, but no, hold on though. But are you telling me that they're like out there in the animal kingdom, there's not like a hyena who's off his fucking rocker, who was just so, who was such an asshole bully? Like he'll you know what I mean? Like he'll beat up a lion and the lioness.
Do you really want to go there, Steven? Because hyena society is a matriarchy.
All right, I divulge. I'm sorry. All right. So you're not going to tell me that there's some narcissistic hyena out there with a strap on. Well, a strap on. Like,
I know.
Will lay a whole pride is.
Yeah, rainbow dildos. Yeah.
Rainbow hyena. Yeah. Right, so you're going to tell me.
Hyenus rainbow didilius. That's the taxonomy right there.
I mean, I just like there's not a penguin. Look, there's not a loopy penguin out there. You know what I mean? Like a real narcissistic penguin that's like just amazing charisma, can gaslight anybody on the glacier.
I hypothesize that this is the reason for the downfall of the unicorn, because they followed an insane leader. But you consider a pack of wolves, Stephen. If the leader is unstable, what do the rest of the wolves do? They kill it.
Yeah, they do.
They're not going to stand for it. Yeah. Again, because people have that gift of reasoning and imagination and all that kind of stuff. They can't thwart or steal your free will, but they can convince you to use your creative gifts to believe in like create a subdomain, a sub-realm. And that's what we do when we devalue ourselves. If we fail to see ourselves as the product of a beautiful source, we are made in the image and likeness of the creator. If we fail to see that, or if we use those talents to benefit somebody else for their nefarious purposes, then we both lose.
Well, I've seen. Oh, go ahead.
Well, but eventually, if we can see through that and heal through that, then we gain. And in that sense, the narcissist is our teacher. Doesn't excuse what they do. It's just the final end result, if you want to put a label on the package when it gets shit out the other side.
I completely agree with that, because I mean, a lot of the clients that I talk to, in Rogue Recovery, they go through like a spiritual awakening. They go through like an awakening of character, an awakening of spirit and self when they survive an encounter with a narcissist. They evolve. that's what I like to see. I mean, there's different degrees and there's different stages of healings, and we do not compare traumas here. We all have had our own story.
Right.
But when you finally realize your worth and you get through, what you need to, you do evolve. You're not going to take shit anymore. You're going to stand up for yourself. You're going to have boundaries. You can see narcissistic tendencies, your selfish tendencies coming a mile away, and you will not accept that in your life. One of the things that the Dragonstorm takes a bit more of a direction in is, I think, be more aggressive in defending yourself. Like, do not be afraid to be that threat. Do not be afraid. If you strike fear in someone who is insecure, fearful, moves from fear or pain or anger, selfish, if you strike fear into those types of personalities, because of their insecurities, that's not on you. That's not your fault. That's not your problem. And I think one of the things that narcissists really hate when you take your power back and you start to realize your own strength and you're not giving into that energy vampire, it strikes fear into that person, because that loss of control has everything to do with how they think. And even if it's not a narcissist, generally toxic people who may see a value you have, your strength, your stance, your self-confidence, and become offended by that. If they enact out on that, that is not on you. You creating those fears in others is not on you. Right. Don't be afraid to be a threat. Don't be afraid to be an alpha, a sigma. Don't be afraid. Don't let society, because we've seen a lot of that. We've seen this cucking in society that comes from the narcissists who run our governments and the psychopaths who pull the purse strings. Trying to destroy the nuclear family, destroy the idea of masculinity and femininity, destroy yourself, erode your self-confidence, make you dependent on someone else, following a hive group mind instead of thinking for yourself. We've seen this. It's been a disease over the population, and I think it has a lot to do with the rise in narcissism.
Absolutely.
And one of those tenets is not making you afraid to be a threat and be your most powerful self, something that narcissists have no problem doing, at least from the perspective of darkness. Go ahead, Quill.
Well, and that's a perfect example of using a narcissist using a power source in order to manifest a reality that's beneficial to them. We saw that in the political realm. The whole world was convinced to stay inside for something that turned out to be a lie, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
The other
we
thing
can talk about that now, right?
Absolutely. It's been publicly put out there. But see, the thing that I like about your channel.
Go ahead, brother.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing that I like about your channel is that early on in the recovery stage, when you're maybe still a little bit wounded, but you're ready to stop being wounded, that's when Dragonstorm comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. But it's also one of those things you tell people, like, hey, it's okay to have power. It's okay that it fucking hurt, but guess what? Get up, dust yourself off, turn those teeth back around. They can't take what you don't give them. And if they rely on you being in a low vibration state. And when you're in a high vibration state, they cannot make use of your energy. So the only recourse is to try to knock you down, disrupt your feeling, your emotional barriers, your emotional body, if you want to talk about layers of the aura, to convince you to once again vibrate at that level that they're able to make use. But at some point, at some point you outgrow that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. At some point you'll outgrow that. Go ahead, brother.
Equinox says Dracula is depicted in the castle. Yes. What's up, Equinox?
You want to suck my what?
The energy vampires, right? You think of these energy, right? Narcissists, I'm sure, they think of themselves as like badasses, like badass, characters. And I would expect, they think themselves as Dracula. But let me give you this. Okay, narcissists are not Bram Stoker's Dracula. Okay?
No.
Okay, narcissists are a very weak version of Dracula Dead and Loving It. Have you ever seen that from Mel Brooks? All right, Dracula Dead and Loving It with Leslie Nielsen. Okay.
Yep.
And Renfield is the flying monkey. Like, that is what a narcissist is. You got to look at them like that, because, like, I understand. I have talked to some people, clients. I don't want to name any. I'm not going to name anybody, but, like, I've spoken to clients whose narcissists have been rich, have been powerful in the religious community, in legal communities, law enforcement, places in positions of power. So at some point they did the work to get to that point. And at some point they had to have manifested that into their lives in order to have created that. So my thing is, they didn't get there through their own energy, their own demonic blessing. They didn't get there they used the backs of other people. They used the supplies of other people, their energetics, their abilities, their gifts, their support. And empaths, most especially. We're going to get into empaths and a little later on. But without that supply, without that feed, they cannot hold their own. The whole point of even discussing narcissistic collapse is, if a narcissist has no fuel, the narcissist falls into collapse. You look at that psychologically or spiritually. I think they're both valid reasonings. But if a narcissist doesn't have anyone to suckle from, to drain from, to destroy while they elevate, they can't elevate. I mean, and that is the point of an energy vampire, is it not, Immortal Coil?
Right. Truthfully, they rely on they rely on you to create an image of power of them inside your own mind. Which is why it's useful, and you've talked about this, Stephen, in reconsidering a narcissist, to think about maybe a petulant child, or if it's a male narcissist, picture like a bitchy female, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you have to do these little tricks because you've built them up to something in your head that they're actually not, and they're actually pleased that they've convinced you that that is who they are. Because they're actually walking around just like scared to fucking death. They can't face reality. If you confront them directly, they want to change the subject, or they'll have an emotional outburst, or they'll just leave, or they'll make you feel like shit. There's no impetus for them to move forward, because everything that they've tried to derive energy from closed down, powerful sources has provided them benefit. And it's like that Pavlov's dog thing. Like, if it works for you, then why change it?
Right.
Right.
That's why enablers are so fucking dangerous, man. No matter what it is, if it's narcissistic tenant, if whatever it is, whatever your disorder, whatever your addiction, whatever, enablers are the biggest problem when it comes to keeping low vibrational, toxic personality types from thriving. From pushing forward.
And it's even worse when that occurs within a family unit, where there is an obvious narcissist and targets, and then other people who basically enable the narcissist by saying, like, oh, whatever. They continue on the lore of why the narcissist is like it is, and why you have to be like you have to be, and everybody has to occupy their station, or else we'll upset the narcissist. Ooh.
I know. Don't upset the grown toddler. That half-eaten crayon may fall out of their head. Yolandi, how you doing? Is there something I've worked out recently? How does that work? Are you talking about manifestation? If so, please let us know. They're in the law and art. And I would imagine so. Absolutely. And entertainments, especially in entertainments, film production. Coyle and I were working on a book, The Phantom Menace Volume 2, that is about narcissists in Hollywood who pushed agendas to create strife, to disrespect fans, create division and hate between people. And they used art to do this. They disrespected the former fan base in order to create narcissistic supply. They do feast on empaths. And H.G. Tudor, I have to give since you mentioned him, I have to give him a little bit of credit when it comes to how I developed narcissist slaying. H.G. Tudor was actually very helpful. His writing materials were helpful. If you guys are interested in looking into the mind of a narcissist, check that out. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have gotten I'm not sure if I would have gotten the detailed insight that I needed to understand narcissists, their behavior, how they work in groups, and how to defeat them. So shout out to him, self-aware narc. So let's see. For some reason, it held for review. Hold on, Yolandi. I see it now. Attacking you makes it easier to suck on you. Absolutely. Well, because Mortal Coil was talking about going to low vibrational states. It is easy for angry people who run on emotion. All right. We see a lot of politicians do that, right? So your politicians will get out there and they'll start talking about some gobbledygook nonsense to get your fee-fees all wrapped up. Has nothing to do whatsoever with the topic at hand, has nothing to do whatsoever with protecting the populace or any type of comprehensive or common sense law. Has everything to do with what about the kids? What about the trannies? What about this? Right. What about the that? You know what I mean? Like it's all fever pitch, emotional, deregulated rhetoric, which is meant to make you deregulated and therefore get you to vote for them, get you to understand a misconception of the idea being presented or spoken about in such a way that you are now hyperbolic in your response. And it is and that's what narcissists do. That's why they gaslight you. It's why they liars bullshit you. It's why con artists and used car salesmen. It's how they are. Sabub says gossip is a male narc's currency. Absolutely, because inside every male narcissist is an angry 12-year-old with no regulation, no emotional intelligence of a half-eaten crayon. The male narcs are angry women. They're toxic women, and male and female narcissists are toxic men. All right, 9 times out of 10, you talk to a female narcissist, she's going to be misogynist as hell. You know what I mean? Hate other women. And the way that she moves and the way that she collects bodies, jungle branching through monkey branching through a jungle of dong, which is what female
nimbly
narcissists
jumping
do.
From dick to dick.
From dick, right? A carousel of cocks. They act like toxic dudes who go around and just pick up chicks all the time and sleep with anybody. The emotional. I mean, might as well let's get into the spiritual aspect of it now. Might as well. And energetically, that's because they the demon spirit of narcissism, or the dark entities that are grafted or gravitate to the narcissist, is about flipping gender roles. Baphomet, hermaphrodite. You look at the people espousing socio-political rhetoric, wanting to have conversations with our kindergartners about their wee-wee and their, and how they're a girl instead of a boy. It's all about gender confusion. It's about twisting those energies, because if you could be gay, and you can absolutely be gay or be, obviously people are, excuse me, you don't need my permission, but a person can be gay or straight and have the natural balance of or overwhelming energy of one of either masculine or feminine. This is just how we're built. It's just who we are. But the narcissist really wants you to be confused in your gender role, in that energy rhythm, because if they destabilize that, they're going after your root chakra, they're going after your sacral chakra. That's why you don't sleep with a narc. They're going after your emotional center. They're going after your throat. They're a narcissist. I've got to make a diagram of this. As a matter of fact, I am for Rogue Recovery. I'm going to work on this.
You should.
They attack every single chakral point in order to overwhelm you, in order to have that straw that's stuck inside your aura that drains your power, drains your light, takes everything from you. This is how they operate. Coyle, go ahead. I know you've been chopping at the bit. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I like what you're saying there, but there's a couple of different. If we're gonna talk metaphysics, I kind of want to talk about soul agreements, man. Depending on your ultimate trajectory in life as a spirit, okay, we don't come down here, we don't come out of our mom without having a plan, an ultimate direction, an occupation, our gift to the world. But the gift to the world don't come easy. It comes through training, which typically involves you build up your character only to have it ripped down so that you can reassemble it and take the valuable parts. And unfortunately, we do require bad actors in our lives in order to tear us down. So enter the narcissist. Now, on one level, it's terrible. Okay, you do not deserve to be abused. Nobody does. In the ideal world, we'd all just hold hands, and it would be like that Star Trek episode with the naked planet where Wesley got he got in trouble for stepping on a blade of grass or something. It'd be like that, except without the bullshit. But typically, what happens is that we need to summon somebody to play out that role. So in our family, our birth family, right? This is our training ground. And if you're going to be dealing with narcissism, but very much likely that one of your parents will be a narcissist or a sibling will be a narcissist, and you'll have to deal with that. They will assign you a station in life, and depending on how you come at that will determine how you relate to the world. And because you've had that pattern, you're going to seek out somebody else to play out that pattern until you become aware of it. Because a lot of times we're just walking around unconsciously in the beginning, right? So go ahead.
Well, I mean, if you don't learn the lesson, then you're going to repeat it, right?
That's where we're going. Absolutely. Yeah. So, whatever, if you don't deal with your family dynamic, you're going to get pissed off and leave. You're going to be like, yeah, I don't need this. I'm going to go out in the world. But you still have that energetic and psychological need to create that dynamic again, because that's the station in your family that you occupy. And it's not that you're comfortable with it. It's just that's what you know how to do. So you will attract people in your life to enact that role. And if you don't choose to do that romantically, you'll choose to do that professionally or in your school life or in your church or in your organization. You'll find those people to do that thing with, because your job is to learn how to transcend the circumstance. You break yourself down so you can build yourself up. And then once you've healed and learned through that process, you will have a gift to give to the world.
Well said.
Yeah. That if you want to talk spirituality, metaphysics, there you go.
Well, you see that gift is.
Yeah.
You see that gift. My signal's going weak. Give me a second. You see that gift in how many people are talking about this, right? There's a lot of people out there that are not, moving into like coaching. But they continue to speak out about the evils of narcissism and narcissistic abuse and those types of people. Well, I mean, he's psychopathic and sociopathic as well. When you gain that knowledge, when you learn and get through it, you know that there were others who needed guidance. And so you see a lot of people moving forward and making that content because they know other people need that support. They know other people need that guidance because they've learned that lesson. And it's up to the person watching to make the leaps, the steps that they need to take in order to protect themselves, in order to elevate into the next level.
Well, it's also important to note that communication is not the only gift. I mean, you might be a builder, you might be a plumber, who knows? You might be a janitor, you might be a politician, but through healing, you're able to dedicate yourself to your craft and make it to the point of artistry. Steven, it's not nice to laugh at plumbers.
Listen, you know where I was going. Listen, there's a female plumber out there. All right, they do exist. Guys. There's a woman plumber out there right now who is like snaking a drain or something and thinking about their narc ex, plowing that rainbow dragon in the ass. And they're really working it. Like they're using all of that pent up anger to unclog somebody's drain right now. Just imagining that it's their narc ex's ass, and I think that is another benefit. That is another benefit, I think, to growth. That's a positive way to use your negative fifis, your negative emotions, much like Mace Windu. But something else I want to get. Yeah, I want to get into Vapad actually later on. I want to actually let me recognize the chat real quick. Hail Trans Fat Cotton Ministries is in the house. What is up, brother? Hail the Wookiee. Yolandi says that he's into black magic or narc X. Yeah. Okay. So,
Steven.
Yeah, right. You just tickle my taint, right? All right. So, I am pretty adamant that unless you are dealing with a really cerebral narcissist, that yes, narcissists can perform magic. Absolutely, they do it innately. Dark types, people who live in delusion and lies and destroying others and being a con artist and living that low vibrational life, energy vampires of all types. They depend on the energy of others entirely, and they're always resonating at a low frequency, even when they're faking that they're happy or whatnot. And so, but for a narcissists are highly emotionally deregulated. That's not to say that a narcissist can't get something done. They can't be cerebral. They can't achieve. Obviously, they can. But when it comes to magic, the only advantage a narcissist has is that they're highly emotional, which is required if you are a caster. You need emotions. Manifestations, you need emotions. Emotions are tied into the matrix of our bodies and our minds, and therefore the energy vibration of our spirit. However, unless that narc is a really, really cerebral narc, then I don't see them being a very powerful practitioner. Can they curse? Yes, absolutely, innately, because because of the dark vibrations that they live in, the low resonance that they live in. They already house dark entities. They're already attracting dark spirits. They live in dark forces and dark karma. A lot of people say, why does it seem like narcs never get theirs? They do. They absolutely do. But because of the energetic frequency that they live in, they are so used to being that they turn. They get flowers out of shit sometimes, because that's the rhythm of how they live. When it comes to direct casting, like as a spellcaster, not very good, because there's always going to come a point where it's about me, or it becomes overindulgence. If you want to look for a serious practice, like something you'd seriously be afraid of, all right, look at the Anton LaVey's, the psychopaths and the sociopaths. Look at people who can just pinpoint fire focus without any real control, especially a psychopath, without any real control or not control, but limitations of emotions, exactly what they want. That's a person that can create a puppet. That's a person that can create effective war water. That's a person that can hex the living hell out of you. But when it comes to narcissists, it's a shame if he is practicing and can't. I'm not saying they can't, but because of the dark entities that house within them, the dark forces that they work in throughout their lives, through illusion, delusion, destruction, passing on drama and trauma, they already get blessed by the evil eye. They're already blessed by dark forces. They have a degree of telepathy, which we're going to go into empath versus narcissist, because I want to get into that. But they have a degree of telepathy. They have a degree of foresight. All right, there's a reason why the narcissist will text you out of nowhere when you're breaking away from their control, or get a hold of you somehow in the cut. There's a reason why the narcissist knows exactly what to say, or exactly how to fucking say it, without any information given to them as to someone you've confided in, or a group you've confided in about their abuse or about them. They feel and sense all this. It's like a danger warning system, and that is a blessing given to them by demonic spirits. And I'm joking about that. So when it comes to Yolandi, if your narcissist is throwing black magic at you, and if you're open to it, I'm a practitioner. I can help you. I do have spells. Look on the Dragonstorm list. Look for cut, bind, and banish on my video list if you're into, and that'll decimate a narcissist. And if that doesn't work, I have some war water. I have a triple binding that annihilated two narcissists in a row. So I know that one works. And yes, the Jezebel spirit. That is one of the spirits that narcissists are infested with. If they're semantic, some narcs aren't sexual deviants, but the ones that are, absolutely, the Jezebel spirit has everything to do with that. Gender confusion. Male narcs are like toxic women. Female narcs are like toxic men. Jill says, after spending time in America, I saw so much evidence of the corruption of the divine masculine and feminine. Absolutely. And destabilizing those energies does several functions. Destroys the idea of a nuclear family or a natural family between the husband-wife dynamic and with the children. It also destroys identity. It also hits that's why they go after this in preschool. Look, in preschool, freaking kindergarten, freaking as young as they can come at them, is to condition children into becoming confused as to who and what they are before they have a chance to figure out naturally who and what they are. And that is to destabilize, to create conflict between them and their parents, the former generation, but it's to create emotional instability. It's all about emotional and sexual instability. Those energies are very important in being a healthy person, no matter how nuts you are, because I'm a little nuts. But if you don't have that balance, then it disrupts the natural rhythm of a person and makes them more malleable to conditioning. Yolanda says, I've heard this before. They trigger ascension. They absolutely do. Can abuse be helpful? Well, I think Immortal Coil was kind of talking about that. So we're going to touch on that before we even go forward. It's not that no one should be abused. No one should be abused. There's no reason for it. But if you do come under a situation where you are unduly being hurt, attacked mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, then that is a challenge from the universe. That is a challenge from darkness. The shadow self can be a tool for growth. And evil people, manipulative people, the only, like what we were talking about earlier about energy vampires, the only reason they exist is because they can get over on somebody.
Right.
Coil, do you have any thoughts on can abuse be helpful?
Well,
I'm going to get some whiskey.
that's a touchy subject. And I apologize, guys. My Wi-Fi is spotty here. So if I'm dropping out, it's not because I don't love you. It's because I have to walk around and hunt for the good signal. Can abuse be helpful? It depends on the perspective that you're looking at it from. So if you're looking at it from a 3D, I'm in my body, whatever, no, abuse is not kind. Nobody really benefits from that except for the abuser, for the power that they derive off of the situation. It takes a very spiritual mind to understand the benefits that happen from overcoming an abusive situation. The situation itself is fucked. The dynamic itself is fucked. But the ability and the opportunity to transcend the paradigm, that's a gift. When you decide that you no longer wish to visit abuse on the self, and you take the steps to not only end the abuse, but heal from it. And if you can, in the very end, exist in a space of forgiveness. Because as I said before, you break yourself down to build yourself back up, right? And you did the work, yes, but it was a co-created situation. And that's why I mentioned gratitude. Now, gratitude is not a condonement, and it's not a celebration or an appreciation. It's just the end result of a process of mastery. Because it's natural to be angry, and it's natural to rebel and all that kind of stuff. But the longer that you hold that negative state with you, the longer the situation is binded to you. And it's only until that you can recognize it for what it was in your life and release it that you're truly free and that you've truly transcended it.
Well put. Glenn just came into the chat. Glenn, if you're off, I know you're off. There's a link in the Dragonstorm Instagram page, chat group. You're welcome to join. Glenn's is the one who brought up. We were talking about the manifestation aspect of manifestation video that you made the other day, when it came to why do narcissists manifest, and it's because of their delusion and how much they believe and in their own lies and self. But if you want to go back earlier and check that out, we're not going to go over that again. But thank you so much for giving us topical conversation. So yeah, when it comes to the ascension can happen, and everybody that I talk to has that goes through narcissistic abuse, or a various type of it, goes through this spiritual awakening, this evolution of character, because they have been through the fire. They clawed their way up and out of hell. They dealt with the worst of the worst. They dealt with somebody who was entirely selfish and used every one of that person's weaknesses against them. Being too considerate, being too kind, having weak boundaries, not looking after yourself first are weaknesses that are exploited by con artists, and most especially narcissists of any type. And because of that, it is it can show you if you don't want to go through the same cycles over and over again. And mind you, I'm not spanking anybody's ass about this because I went through several narcissistic relationships throughout my life because I did not learn my lesson and I kept resonating in the same types of women. It took me until my 40s, but as long as you learn that lesson at some point and begin to know your worth, begin to understand your value, then you're still going to deal with people who have no problem over being a habitual line stepper, using you, lying to you, being lied to. It's a cycle of drama and trauma that narcissists live in, and if you don't learn the lessons from what you have gone through, then you are doomed to repeat that cycle forever. So in that way, yes. I want to say how I don't think this is the greatest way to say it, but in that way, yes. Those challenges can be helpful. Overcoming those adversities can be helpful. Absolutely. Paradise says you might hump trees because you put coffee up your butt. We're not going there, Paradise. These are old lies and rumors. That's an old smear campaign. I see we talk about smear campaigns and flying, and trolls. This is what we're talking about. I do not put coffee in my ass. Yolanda says, and telepathic, I know it sounds nuts. No, it doesn't sound nuts. So Coyle and I come from the perspective, we're both spiritualists in our own ways. We both come from the perspective that every person has psychic ability. We are all connected through the collective consciousness. We are all children of God. We're all from the tribe of Gaia. Like we are all put here together. Like we are connected through it to one another. And as such, we all have abilities or degrees of abilities. Oh God, Coyle, this is a good one I was about to bring in. We all have abilities. So yes, absolutely. I dealt with a narcopath who was definitely telepathic. My ex, definitely telepath. Could definitely read and she's very aware, could read a room and had what we would call empathic ability. Here we go. Thank God, Coyle. All right. Thank God. All right. And definitely, so I was talking about Ash, and I was saying that she definitely was a telepath, and she had what you would call, what I would call empathic abilities, although she wasn't very empathic, like, as far as like compassion and so forth. And it brings us back to the idea of the empath, and we can kind of kick this off now, the empath versus the narcissist, which are I think the equal and opposites that have similarities. Unhealed empaths, because I don't think empaths really come into the world like without challenges and traumas. I think they're meant to overcome them and then evolve into an empath or a healed empath. And in some cases, a dark empath. That's a whole other thing we'll get into before the Mace Windu bit. But empathy, really, empathy. So the idea, the word empath first originated in 1956. Is that holy shit? The word empath first originated. Yo.
Oh wow!
Yo!
This is a party now. Hey, what's
you
up,
gotta
Scott?
mute me, Scott.
Hey,
He lives.
I didn't mean to take you completely off
That's
track.
good, because if my signal continues to be shit, at least Steven's not up here flapping his yap by himself.
Oh no, that's fine. I love Scotty. Hi, Scotty. How you been, bro? What's going on?
Good, guys. Good to see you. Yeah,
Turn on your mic, bud.
Oh, is it not
His
on?
mic's on. I can hear you.
Is it?
You can?
Yeah.
I cannot.
What's wrong?
Testing 1 2 check. Testing.
Drop out and come back in, Coyle.
All right.
All right, Scott. What's going on, dude? How have you been? I haven't talked to you in a minute.
Good. Yeah, I finished making a video, and then you know how you get a backup after you upload something and all these comments are coming and stuff, and you just got to get away from it. And so I checked Instagram and I saw the invite was in there, and I'm like, I'm doing that.
Awesome, man.
I'm going in.
Yeah, I was just we're just wait for Coyle to come back, but we were just about to go into the idea of actually something that I think you could probably pretty well speak on. God, I can't even speak. Something I think you'd be able to put some input in on. I have always been of the mind that narcissists, because of what they do and how they act, running in cycles of drama and trauma, bringing in negative energy, that they attract dark entities, dark forces, like the Jezebel spirit, for instance.
Yeah.
And this gives them blessings. It gives them like the evil eye. It gives them the ability to sense when you're deregulated or like certain psychic abilities, like dark gifts, and do you have any position on that? Do you feel any way about that? Do you think that is a thing?
I want to make sure that I totally understand you. Is this loud enough?
Okay. Yeah, it's loud enough. What I'm saying is that I believe that
Okay.
because narcissists operate in low vibration, destroying
Totally.
people, lying, that they, that the devil blesses them, that they can attract in dark entities and dark spirits, and that's how they kind of get over on people.
I never really thought of that sentence that you just said, the devil blesses, because that's almost an oxymoron.
I know it's an oxymoron, yeah.
Because bless means life and curse means death. But yeah, I think the devil, well, it's just like, I mean, take it, we've talked politics before. If you look at politics, like say the Democrats, they all hate each other because they're all trying to step on each other and to climb the ladder, but they will work together, and so they will bless each other, meaning they will lift up, like narcissists will find other narcissists and they will work together, even though they hate each other because they hate everybody, but they will still, they know who's on their team and they know how to work that. So yeah, the devil does bless people. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so Yolandi was just talking about her narcissist, said her narcissist did black magic, was a practitioner, and was also telepathic. Says, I know it sounds nuts, but not to me, because I think that the narcissists are given things like the evil eye, and that they can read you, that they can use those energies to their benefit. One of the reasons I think narcissists fall into narcissistic collapse is not just the psychological component of them not having someone to abuse and control, but it's also like, if you've got these devils on your shoulders, if you've got this like Jezebel spirit or Leviathan or whatever, and so the contract with them would be destroy other people, spread evil, spread darkness, spread hate, and if that person they've made that contract with is not devouring others, then they're going to be sacrificed. They're going to be devoured. And I think that's one of the aspects of narcissistic collapse is, okay, you're not fulfilling your contract with the devil, so now the devil's going to destroy you.
Right.
And that's why they need supply over and over again.
That's rough. That's a sick game. It's like that. What was that movie? Was it Speed? Where I think it was Keanu Reeves, like on a bus. And it was like, either you have to keep it at this speed all the time, because if you slow down, it'll blow up. That's how the narcissist lives, is the way that you're explaining that. Is they have to go get supply, because if they slow down, they'll blow up.
Right.
Is that making sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. That's a great analogy. Yeah.
Isn't that the movie with Keanu Reeves? It was like a bus.
Yeah.
It was like a trap. And
It sure is.
That's how. That's,
oh my God.
That's like how they live.
Why can't I think of the name of who's the villain in that? Oh, Coyle, save me right now. He was in Easy Rider. Oh God, I can't think of his name.
It's not Nicholson, is it?
No. Someone save us in the chat.
No.
Oh well, you know what? It's past. But yeah, Speed, great. That's a great analogy too. If they do slow down, if they don't have anything to keep them going, to keep their lies going, their illusions, their cycles of destruction, they're feeding their grandiosity, keeping everything. If they don't have anyone else to keep them going, then they fall apart. They don't have any other energy to feed off of.
And there's that famous sentence. I think Ozzy Osbourne made it famous: "No rest for the wicked."
No rest for the wicked, right, brother? Right. And then, and so Glynis was talking about from Dragonstorm, from our Dragonstorm group. She was talking about on one of her videos, how do narcissists keep going? How do they manifest? How do they keep getting what they want? And Coyle and I were discussing this earlier, and it's because they feed off of other people. It's because of them, the energy that they take from others. It's not just their own vision, although believing in your delusion, believing in your lies can make things happen. It can propel you forward. It can give you initiative. It can't manifest.
Yeah, there's like dark manifestation, probably, right?
Right. That's the way I would put it. And then Coyle was. How did you put it, Coyle? As far as when a liar manifests?
Well, it's you're basically capitulating your free will to their vision instead of yours. right? They convince you to build what they want you to build. And it's not necessarily that they're lacking those tools themselves, but they've learned through life that the tool that they need to use is other people, and particularly manifestors who are stronger in that skill than they are.
Yes. And so I thought that was a great point when she was like talking about, you know, how does it seem like they never lose? How does it seem like they never get their karma? They do get their karma. They just live that way.
Yeah.
And then moving into, okay, going back to now, I think we're all caught up in conversation now. So Yolandi was talking about her narcissist being a telepath, and then the idea of the empath. And the idea of an empath was presented in 1956. Science fiction writer J.T. McIntosh, he was a Scottish writer, science fiction, and it was an empath is basically like an emotional telepath, an energy telepath. They can read energies, they can read a room, they can they sympathize with others, you know, it can take them over. Like, what is, and then Coyle brought up the first time you hear telepath was Deanna Troi on Star Trek, which is true. So did I.
Yeah.
That's where I first heard it. But when I saw that character, I really understood it, because as I was growing up in my life, I had those sensations. I had those, you know, it kind of gave me an answer to like why I walk into a room and I could feel different people, or I could feel the energy of the room. Coyle, what's your interpretation of, or an empath, like your idea?
Well, and I'm glad that we had
You there?
Deanna as an artistic representation of that. There were a couple of episodes where, like, there was one where there was a alien that was using music to block out her gift, and it was causing her pain. And then there were other times where she closed herself off because she didn't want to feel what the other being was feeling. But like particularly Encounter at Farpoint, you remember the entity that was being forced to be a base? She could feel its pain. So it's something similar to that. Star Trek obviously dramatizes that, however you say that. But essentially, you're able to experience what somebody else is experiencing, which is a mild form of a psychic gift. It's I don't know how deep you want to get into that, but essentially, you're able to feel other people's feelings, and sometimes that's so intense that you decide to maybe dim the switch a little bit. But a lot of times, narcs particularly target empathetic people because they realize that those people are naturally caring and naturally wanting to give. They have big heart centers, you know, they're nurturers. Because I don't know how to explain it better, but it's more like the things that we've been through, we don't want anybody else to go through, so we want to take care of our own.
Yeah. It's one. I think it's one. It's like they say.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Everything's on a spectrum, and depending on the childhood trauma that you go through, if it's too severe, you might end up being a narcissist, because the pain that you go through, the choice that you make is that, oh, I'm going to make everybody go through this. And on the other side of the spectrum, someone might go through some terrible things, but they make a different decision, and the decision they make is, I don't want anyone to go through that. And so one is uncaring and one is caring. One cares about only themselves, and they don't care if they hurt anybody. And they say, you know, like, I don't want to be alone in my misery. Misery loves company. I'm going to make everybody feel this pain. And the empath says the exact opposite. Like, nobody should have to go through what I went through, and I'll try to, you know, keep anybody from that. So it's a spectrum, and it ends up with some sort of a choice that I think happens in childhood. It's how you react to the trauma. You either end up a narcissist or you know, there's just a spectrum, but there's only two options. It's black and white. It's yin and yang. It's either self-centered,
when it comes to
or
that dynamic,
selfless.
absolutely. And It's the so unhealed empaths, which I really believe that. So both narcissists and empaths go through trauma. I think they both go through their own trials and tribulations in life, in early life, and they make the decisions. Like Scott was saying, you know, how do I want to present? How do I want to look at this situation? Am I going to be caring or uncaring? And it's a fine line that can go in either direction. When you look at an unhealed empath, which is why I think narcissists and empaths attract one another. The empath is looking to help someone else, is helping to heal, because that's what they naturally want to do. But at the same time, an unhealed empath does not understand their worth, does not have strong boundaries, cannot control their sympathy. And so the narcissist sees that and sees life, you know, limitless supply in a person who will not give up on them. And that is, I think, for light workers, for instance, you know, for healers, for healed empaths, dark empaths, that getting through a narcissistic experience, overcoming that hurdle, is what elevates them to that next level. It is what gives them that final push in order to make the decision to not only to protect themselves while still being compassionate. Like when we talk about dark empaths, people who can mirror back narcissists, you know, things like I do. That is an understanding of your light and shadow selves, your light and dark selves. That's an understanding of, you know, being healed, facing your traumas, doing what you had to do to integrate that pain into wisdom and become more authentic. You go through that, like, you understand the dark places because you've been there. You went through that suffering. And that is a knowledge that you can use to help others, to be there and sympathize and help them if they're trying to become, you know, better people or trying to heal from old wounds. But it is also something that can be used against a narcissist, because you now understand pain and you understand the rhythm of those types, those selfish types.
Well, that
Coyle,
might be a good question. Well, that might be a good question. Yeah, that might be a good question for Scott. One of the people in the chat asked if abuse can be a gift. What do you think?
Yeah, anything, you know, it depends on how it's like everything comes down to how you respond to things. You know, they say it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. So, yeah, abuse can be a gift if you learn your lessons, if you learn everything correctly about what the abuse was, and then you teach wisely the truth, and you teach with care and empathy, and you care for people. And again, like on the spectrum, you stay away from the narcissistic mindset that you're gonna, you know, hurt someone because you got hurt, and you say to yourself, okay, I got hurt, and I really want to help people not go through that again. And that's why, like, you know, Stephen, what this channel has definitely had in its history is lifting up and appreciating the heroes. Right?
Yeah.
The narcissistic abuse coach.
It means a lot,
yes. Because they're making that choice, the empathetic choice of helping as many people as possible, and making a career of it. But there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a great choice. It's a great way. It's a great thing to wake up every morning and do, is to help people who are going through these trying times. You know, you and I are years out of our abuse, and we've learned a lot, but you know, it doesn't take much to go back to that first month of the discard and be like, oh my God, like to sit in that and live those feelings again, the confusion and and to know that there's always people in that.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Because a cycle started last year of abuse when somebody was innocent, and this year somebody's in so much pain because the cycle came around, and maybe after a year they got discarded and destroyed, and then that narc's going to go to somebody else, and they're constantly going to new. There's always people in all this pain, and so we can use our abuse to heal people, or at least to be empathetic and understand. Maybe we'll run into somebody that needs a helping hand or an ear, at least an ear. Not everybody has, you know, money to help somebody out, but maybe we can listen and say, I understand. and I'm sorry that you went through that, and you didn't deserve that. And sometimes just those words are healing because it comes from someone who understands it. As we've talked about this, like people who haven't gone through our narcissistic abuse really can't understand this.
No, it's foreign to them. And that's a message I hear consistently because it is the truth. If you haven't been through it, you just can't understand it. Who is that evil? Who is that selfish?
Yeah.
Who digs into your traumas and triggers and tries to exasperate, create new ones, lock you in psychologically into cycles of self-defeat to keep you from understanding your worth, your courage, your power, your strength, while depending upon you for something, for supply, for a validation, for money or drugs or whatever the case, whatever that narcissist is trying to get out of that person. But at the end of the day, it's all about feelings of control, not freedom, the opposite of good. It's you can't. How do you wrap your mind around that? How do you wrap your mind around somebody who can tell you bold-faced and look sincere that they love you and care about you and they love bomb you and say all the things you want to hear, and then turn around and hurt you in the most horrible, calculated, heartless ways imaginable?
It's somebody who hasn't gone through that. They've never been in a relationship where that happened to them, and so that just seems like, what are you describing to me? Who would like that wouldn't happen?
Or just leave. What about just leave, Scott? You know, that's the one thought. You know, it's not like you're going to get stalked and you're not being character assassinated, and you're not, like all of these. This person is doing anything absolutely whatsoever, covertly or overtly, to keep you engaged and keep you traumatized and feeling like you're being bullied. If you try to walk away from them. Like, there is no just walk away. That simple answer from a toxic relationship or just a bad relationship, no, that doesn't apply with this. You're being hounded. You're being stalked. And not only emotionally, psychologically, physically, they're obsessed, right? And it's a spiritual attack. It absolutely is a spiritual attack. So it's spiritual warfare, Glenn. Exactly. It's spiritual warfare.
Yes.
And you're coming at you from every single angle.
And the other thing is you can't get away because that's the same person that is making the victim feel validated. The victim feels like, I need this person because it's the chemical thing. It's the drug. It's the trauma bond. And so it's so hard to get away because you need that person to love you. And they will for a little bit, but they'll breadcrumb you. And that's just like a little more drug. And then you're just getting lower and lower and lower. And the withdrawals are worse and worse and worse as they pull away, but they breadcrumb you. And it's just, you can't cross that line and just really leave. It's so hard to just leave.
Yeah. Carol Pack in the chat just said pain becomes your friend.
Yeah.
And that is it. You become conditioned to living with pain. That it is your life. They get you so used to feeling like that's your worth. Like you're not worthy of being loved. You've done something wrong and you've never done anything wrong. You continually try and help that person that you can see, and if you're empathic, you can see that broken inner child that you really want to help to fix. You really want to be there for. You want to be the difference. You want to help support them, but they have no interest whatsoever. And then as a matter in healing that, and as a matter of fact, use it as a carrot as a carrot on a stick to beat you with that stick every chance they get, just for you continually sacrificing your heart, your mind, your time, your everything. Pain does become your friend. And when you get used to that cycle, you're living in a low vibrational state. And as Immortal Coil says, narcissists can only devour your energy if you are in a low vibrational state.
What have you seen that chart? There's a chart somewhere where it says like shame is the lowest vibration, and I think, is it gratitude is the top?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
but there's a lot of like, adjectives of like all these different emotions and stuff, all the way down to shame, and they might even have colors in there as well. And so, which one is the cutoff point where a narcissist isn't attracted to you anymore? Because there's a middle, there's a middle baseline, right? And then it goes lower, 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 and then there's the middle baseline, and then it goes higher, 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 higher. So where's the actual one where a narcissist will? It'd be nice to know where they don't want anything to do with you, and then you can at least keep it there.
Well,
I think it's where you stop being reactive to them and start taking care of yourself. If you're not putting your energy outwards, they're not allowed to benefit from it. And then that's where it becomes a problem for them, and they try to make it back into a problem for you.
Well, they can't have it. So first off, before I go on, because we got to talk about Kevin here in a minute. Kevin is in the chat. Kevin, we have something special for you tonight.
Here we go.
We have something special for you tonight. But before we go, it is wet. Okay, so psychologically, they feel like they're losing control when you begin to feel your worth and feel good about yourself, because the cycle of self-defeat within them wants to beat you down and get you into a malleable state, and wants to keep you thinking low of yourself, and wants to keep you traumatized and yelling or reacting in any negative way. That's what they can devour. They cannot devour high vibrational, mid to high vibrational states. I mean, maybe mid sometimes when they're looking for that, when they're in the love bomb phase. They want to be told that they're everything and they're wonderful. But when it comes to like gratitude, selflessness, when it comes to like really high vibrational states, they can't devour that. They're not blessed with the ability to truly understand. First off, they don't know what love is, and love is the heart of gratitude and appreciation and forgiveness. They don't understand what that frequency is. They think that love is abuse, so that they can't reach that state to really appreciate, to really be charitable, to really give, to help others. They can't understand those things. It's all a transaction to them. It has nothing to do with any type of higher vibrational state. It's about a person is an ATM, an emotional ATM. And before we go into that awesome conversation, so as Kevin says, yes, these narcs devour our energy. They poach it, but deny it. I was witnessing how narc poachers did it by dissing men and claiming they were stalking her. She obviously wants a reaction. Absolutely, she wants a reaction, Kevin, because she caused some people to shut down their YouTube smear campaigns. That's insane. That's insane. Dude, they tried to do that to me.
Yeah.
They wanted me to stop, and I ended up breaking Dragonstorm and growing bigger than my original channel. It's so hard to overcome, especially when it's a social media driven smear campaign with several narcissistic people who are all operating all looking for fuel. They're not necessarily working with your narc X or with the narcissist targeting you. They're not necessarily in the same chat group, perhaps, but they see the attacks that are going on. They see the devaluation. They see the potential for supply, and they all dogpile on. That's why you see people go after good people. Like, that's why you see groups of negative people go after target a good person, because they want to drag them down, make them depressed, make them miserable, and that way they can devour them. They can devour that supply. Kevin, however, by the way, if you guys don't know, Kevin, you're always Yang to us, Kevin Yang. Kevin has a YouTube channel, very successful YouTube channel. Ladies, all right, and this is very important. This is a very important part of this. Excuse me, guys. Look at that man. All right. Look at that man. Look at that bodybuilding Asian right there. Okay.
That's dedication. That is dedication right there.
But Scott, there's a woman out there, or women in his history. There's a woman out there that made that man right there not feel his own girth, not feel how much of a wonderful person he was. You know what I mean? Like whatever the weakness was, if he had a weak heart, whatever, like if he was no boundaries, or a strong heart with no boundaries, you know what I mean? Like, but that well-built banana hammock right there was told that his value was not good. All right. He was not appreciated. That hammock was triangulated, guys. All right. It was, you know what I mean? And that's a goddamn shame. Yeah. That hammock was devalued. That was told that he was with a woman. All right. And this is a good Christian man, guys. All right. This is an Orthodox Christian man, bodybuilder, man of the world, living in Australia, Asian, Canadian, whatever. He's been everywhere. Okay. Showing off his muscles in his hammock. And this woman not only did not value him, but triangulated that hammock and made him feel less than his own girth.
It's a shame.
That's a shame. That's awful. And I just want to say that it's a crime. Now, we think a lot. Listen, Kevin, we think a lot. Coyle and I think a lot about you. I mean, not a lot, not creepy a lot. It's not like
you're
that.
a valuable member of the show, of the chat.
Yes,
Yes.
right. You've been around forever. Like we love you. All right. And we talk about your hammock. I mean, we talk about you. All right. And it's not in a weird way. It's not in a gay way, but we just want to say that like you inspire us. All right. You inspire us to do better. And because you've been around in Dragonstorm for so long and a part of this community, we just want to let you know that not only is there a new emoji for Dragonstorm channel members, okay, but this is inspired by you, bro. All right, the Know Your Girth banana hammocks. We are going to be releasing this on the Dragonstorm store. This is because a man like you, inspired us to be better. All right, guys. And listen, and these hammocks are comfortable.
They're lightweight, they're breezy.
Right. You're gonna feel your girth. No one is gonna
cool in the
disrespect.
Summer, warm in the winter. That's right.
No one is gonna disrespect your girth. All right, at all with these hammocks. All right, and I like to thank. You can get 3 for $69.69. Thank you so much. All right, at the Dragonstorm store. In different colors, different sizes. All right. No hammock, like no girth will be disrespected. You're gonna know your girth, feel your girth. Okay. and then just wanted to thank you. We just wanted to thank you, Kevin.
Does it come in a banana yellow?
It absolutely. Lacey, can we get banana yellow for the hammocks? Scotty wants to. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Lacey put these together for us. So yes. Scotty, she's going to be putting together yellow for you.
Okay.
All right.
Sort of I like, my favorite color is plantain.
Plantain? Yeah. Could you find plantain, honey? Is that even a color? Yeah, she says yes. Okay. She said you can find anything. Okay. All right.
So when we hit a million subs, we'll appear all on camera and do a stream in the banana hammocks. But we have to hit 1 million subs.
A million subs, and we're all going to wear Kevin Theo banana hammocks. Yes, absolutely. That is going to be a thing. We love you, brother. I love you so much. And it's totally straight. It's hashtag no homo. I've been trying to get away from creating narc abuse content. Not everyone can deal with the bad rep from narcs. Work on you. Forever work on you. Excel how you need to excel. I won my fight, bro. I literally kicked the ever shit out of my narcs. I don't give a fuck. I'm out here slaying them. I don't give a damn. There's nothing they can say or do to me. I was lucky enough to be targeted by meth addict narcs, tweaker paths. They're called tweaker paths. I was lucky enough to be targeted by tweaker paths. So they can't really do much other than meth, and when you're guys, just in case, if you're trying to escape the wrath of a tweaker path, throw crystal behind you. And that's it. The Hoovers are done. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. And you're good. Okay? Love you guys. Let's see. Okay.
I put this is a little change of topic, but I just wanted you to know that in Dragonstorm Rogues on Instagram,
yeah,
I found a really good simple chart that we were talking about. Sort of, it's like a rainbow, and it has the whole high vibration to low vibration, if that's helpful at all for whatever reason.
Can you screen share it? Can you screen share it?
I don't know.
You should be able to.
I was trying to find a way to send it through StreamYard, but I don't.
It's a preset. Down at the bottom, there's a tab called preset. Just hit that.
Preset.
It should be in the middle between settings and invite.
Image file.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Sai, I was joining Walton's talk about dongs already. Listen, we did not talk about dicks until
did that work?
The banana hammock showed up. All right, and it was a very important segment, CJ.
Yeah. Well, we waited for you, Siege, because we know that that's your favorite part of the show.
All right. Here we go, Scotty. Oh, I like this.
It's a good-looking one. It's simple.
Like Kevin. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So yeah, it's true. Like the bottom one is black. -10 is the last word is shame, and the top one is joy, love, freedom, and gratitude. And so so neutral in the green, the middle green is neutral, relaxed. And so narcissists, they love to feed on us when we're apathy is the first going down. Apathy, when you just don't really care, and then you get pessimistic, impatient, frustrated, irritated, overwhelmed, anxiety, boredom, doubt, worry, blame, discouraged. Oh, I hate that. Difficult, anger, revenge, greed, lack. That's when it gets ugly in there. Hate, rage, jealousy, resent, guilt, insecure, depressed, stuck, fear, grief, self-loathing, powerlessness, unworthiness, and shame. Yeah, that is their food.
Anakin and Palpatine right there. Yeah.
That is their food.
Mm-hmm.
And so they will do whatever. They will say things. They will do things to you so that you stay down there. Going up in the blue, they already hate it. Going just a positive too. Content, they don't like that.
No, that's peace.
Motivated, hope, and you get up to +5, strong. They're not happy with any of those. But even just the light green, which is peace and calm, just a +1. If they sense that, and if they can destroy that, they will target that, and they will bring you down to -3, frustrated and irritated.
Right.
It's literally
they try to knock you off the perch.
This is like the key for what they do. This is like literally like right in your face. This is how they operate. If they recognize that you're up here, they're gonna drag you down. They're gonna say something. They're gonna do something. They're gonna cheat on you. They're gonna betray you. Right when you got things going for you, you know.
Well, they don't reach those points. You know, they don't reach that calm. They don't reach peace. If you're getting off on destroying other people or devaluing or making, like, you're never achieving peace. You're never that baseline. And again, energetically, like Coil, if you want to bounce off this one, like energetically, that energy vampire senses that you are coming to a point of calm and peace, then they realize you are breaking away, you're becoming regulated, and they can't feed on that, you know. And so their first instinct is to pull you back down into the trenches.
However they can. If it's a direct confrontation, they'll be like hysterical. They'll induce guilt or shame. If it's not face to face, they will talk about you behind your back. They'll triangulate you, like Scott said. They'll cheat on you. They'll destroy your professional reputation, all that kind of stuff. Because again, if we're referring to this chart, when you're in the high green, middle to high green, that's when they are beginning to be unable to use the vibration that you're vibrating at. The energies are incompatible. They're no longer able to digest. They're no longer able to control or direct your mindset. So they try to create some traumatic, hysterical event to get you to step outside of your center. Absolutely, sir. That's a very wonderful chart you got there.
It's so simple. And I love the colors because it really lets you put your eye somewhere. It was Kevin asked, where is anger? It's just underneath the comment. It's in the dark red. It's number 9. Okay. Or number 8. Number 8. -8 is anger. Anger, revenge. When you start thinking, I go through this. Sometimes I will, you know, I'm down there every day somewhere. I'm also up above every day. Like I fluctuate. I would love to be able to hang out in green all day, but I can't because I have memories. And then all of a sudden I will go into revenge. Like I would love to can't say it because it's illegal. You know? I'm there, man.
We know what you're saying.
I'm there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bring back dueling.
Bring back dueling.
Yeah.
Well, and this is another thing is that they want us to exist in the lore that we hold about them inside our own heads. And if we keep on telling ourselves the same stories about them, we're not going to be able to change how we relate to them. We have to have a revolution in thought before we can do the word and the deed, right?
Sir.
Starts from within. Yeah.
I mean, CJ right here, right? He's talking about I'm busy fighting my own inner demons and cooking it from within. You have to do the shadow work. You know, we were saying that earlier. That is the difference between a person who is healing and a person who refuses to. All right. Narcissistic or toxic people, they don't want to face their own demons. They want to live through them. They want to reenact them. They want to feed those demons. Fighting your own inner demons is that is such a difficult prospect. It's such a difficult trial to overcome because it's not an external force. They may have been caused by external influences and forces to create those damages within you, but actually looking inward and facing those demons, figuring out your triggers, figuring out sifting through your mind and untangling that web is so instrumental to becoming a decent person, a healed empath, even a dark empath. You have to get to that point, and that's true bravery. Like that's true bravery, true healing is facing your demons and working through them. You need to have a balance of your shadow self and your light and your light self. You need to have that balance, because if you don't and you dip too far into the light, well, then you could become a pushover. I don't care if you have strong boundaries or not, because without the aspect of shadow in ourselves, where is the threat? Where's the predator? Where's the defender of the tribe? Where is the person that's going to handle the axe murderer trying to break through the window? Where is the person who's going to deal with the aggressive narcissist or psycho or whatever the hell coming into your life or coming after your family? Like, you need that shadow self. And so healing through the darker times, those dark thoughts like Scott has had, like I've had, like Coyle has had, fighting through and facing those things, regulating them, having control over them, doing the shadow work, facing those darker emotions is so instrumental to evolving into a higher form of yourself. Understand it doesn't mean you are a bad person, but understanding those places means that you know and understand them, and therefore you can help others through their own times of pain, or use them to defend yourself against those who would come to attack and destroy you. Savage spirituality, right, Chloe?
Absolutely, sir. The biggest tool that they employ against you is deception, and convince you of your lack of self-worth and that evil question, are you sure? You know, they will get you to doubt your convictions and your trajectory in life, and get you to capitulate to their authority. So you have to make your own plan. It starts with independence, and it starts with that thought, there has to be something better than this. You know, because they will convince you that you deserve it, and you'll believe it until you're done. So you're better than that, people. If nobody has told you that today, you're better than that. You're worth more.
My man, and never stop believing yourself, never stop fighting. And if you guys can, I have a GoFundMe. I am trying to raise a limited amount of funds so I can get the rest of what I need to get into a place. We have most of it, but we just need a little bit more help. So if you could share that out, help if you can, share if you will. I greatly appreciate that. Look, we're doing everything we can. We just need a little assistance. And if you're able to, please and thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scotty. What were you saying? What were you going to say?
I was going to riff off of what Quill just said. And when I got out of my relationship and I moved here to this apartment and I escaped, I went into my computer and I printed out like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And on the top, I just printed out, I deserve better, like as big as it would fit across. And then I cut that part off.
Yeah.
And I just had this, I taped it. I taped it to the top of my bathroom mirror just underneath the lights. And it's still there. It's been there for 3 years. It just says, I deserve better. Because that's what you have to tell yourself.
Perfect.
You have to get yourself to believe that. I think, who was it that just said, Mike just said, if you lose your inner love, what did he say? Yeah.
You lose your...
When you lose your inner love, you lose your health and die. That's true. You'll corrupt. You'll just crumble if you stop loving yourself because they made you feel like you don't deserve love. And so you have to say, I deserve better.
You have to, because loving yourself is exactly what. So the narcissist thinks that they love themselves, but they don't know what love is.
No, they don't.
You know, they don't. And so Loving yourself is so very important. And when you begin to display aspects of that, which is the higher states of these emotions, all the way up to gratitude, joy, love, when you love yourself, that's why you become unpalatable to them. And not only that, but offensive, because you are now shining in ways. You are now shining in self-respect and confidence, treating people better, treating yourself better, not accepting less.
Yeah.
You are operating in ways that narcissists simply cannot understand, because they do not understand what love is. And when you go back to the point of their childhoods and what they went through in order to get to that point, that's sad. It really is sad. And I have compassion for those broken inner selves. But when you get to a point of adolescence where you choose not to heal and instead choose to destroy other people, when you become predatorial, you become a threat to others, and you have to handle a threat as a threat.
That's the side of the spectrum, the dark side of the spectrum.
Right. Never should have happened to them. Never should have happened to anybody. Nobody should be abused. Nobody should have to go through, things that turn them into monsters. It is sad, but the outcome is still the same. And if you're dealing with someone who will stop at nothing to destroy you and just destroy your life in order to, and sometimes simply just to feel better about themselves, you have to take that as a serious threat, which leads me into the final segment of today.
Before you go, I just put one more image in before we wrap up this part. It's a book, highly recommended. I bought it for Valentine's Day for myself last year.
Nice.
That was my Valentine's present for myself.
Good.
It's a great book.
So I mean, what does it go through?
Because like what Mike just said, your life depends on this. It's absolutely true. Especially after narcissistic abuse, when you feel hopeless and you're falling apart and you could literally just give up and die. Like literally your life depends on learning how to love yourself again. It's a great book. And I have it in the other room. I could say some things.
What is the greatest takeaway that this literature gave to you? Like how did it help you the most?
There were some, I'd have to, how sometimes you have to go back to a book and reread it. Yeah. Because there's cycles and you'll forget things and you're really into it and then you forget. One of the things that early in the book, what it started to do is it starts teaching you habits. And, there were a few habits. Like one of them was like, literally you just go into the mirror and you stare at your eyes and you just stare at yourself. And you look at yourself in the mirror this close and you just say, I love you, Scott. I love you, Scott. I love you, Scott. And I swear to God, I'm starting to go, like you just start crying.
Aww.
You just start crying. Like do that with your own name and see if you don't break down.
Honestly, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And would you do me a favor, Scotty? Would you tell me you love me? Because
I love you, Stephen.
Thank you. Oh my God, I feel better.
I love you, Stephen.
Thank you. Oh, I'm not saying I have an erection. I'm just saying thank you. No, that was a beautiful. That was so beautiful, man. The energy that you put off.
Dude, and another one that you do, like once you're done brushing your teeth and you get ready and you're about to leave the bathroom and turn off the light, when you turn around and you're done for the morning, before you do that, the last thing you do, put your hand on the mirror and give yourself a high five and say, you can do it, man. You should give yourself a high five every day. Make it like physical.
Oh, man.
High five yourself. It'll change you in like 30 days. It'll change you. It'll change your relationship with yourself.
Good. You need that. You need to recreate that positive relationship with yourself. And those affirmations, those daily affirmations, they mean a lot. And that's beautiful, dude. I can feel the energy. I can feel the change when you say that. That
stuff's in that book. And there's more, a lot more.
Well, let's make sure everybody go take a look at this. It's helping Scott a lot. Scotty has overcome. He's a warrior on the battlefield of life. That man has overcome and dealt with so much. So if it has helped him, guys, please check out this book and support the author and support its material, man.
Yeah, the intro of the book, it's basically he wrote it when he gave up. He was about to he lost his business, he lost everything, and he was basically just bed rotting for months. And then for whatever reason, next thing you know, he just wrote this book, and then it went viral, and it's changed thousands of people's lives.
Beautiful.
It's
That's
on
man, I love to hear that. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Guys,
It's a book about someone climbing out of it and learning the tools, learning the way. Yeah.
And that's what you need, because I didn't have that. I mean, like building this channel, I didn't have you. I didn't have, Alex and I weren't talking at the time. I wasn't talking to a lot of my friends because Alex was going through his own stuff. But I didn't have anybody, and it was reading materials. It was seeing people's content that helped me ascend and care about myself, get out of the situation, start thinking differently, start acting differently, and get over what I needed to coming out of narcissistic abuse. You need that. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful, guys. Please make sure you go out there and support this book. Thank you. I want to go back to the chat real quick and answer a few things. Just a few questions before we get into the final segment. Glenn says you have to tap into your subconscious mind to get to believe it before your conscious mind will. Yes. And that dealing with your subconscious has everything to do with manifesting in your life, but also living in cycles of self-defeat, healing your own traumas. Because depending on how deep that trauma is, how long ago it was, what you suffered and went through, you begin to act in certain ways because of the situation or environment, the conditions that you're dealing with. And those routines, much like Scott was just talking about creating positive affirmations and creating a better relationship with himself. If you think negatively over and over again every day, then your subconscious creates these routines, creates these scripts that will automatically generate that you're not worth it. You're not beautiful. You're not, you're not loved. And that is hard work to dig through in order to heal yourself, in order to think better about yourself. That's exactly what Scott was just talking about, was working with his subconscious mind and get him to the healthier state that he's at now. Same thing with manifestations. When you're creating your life, those doubts, those fears, any other, any fears that you may have throughout life, guys, you have to face them and get over them and believe in yourself and untangle that web in your subconscious, because that's the only way you're going to be able to make your dreams come true. That you're going to push forward, have those reserves of strength that we all have that can overcome obstacles and get us through the darkest times in our lives. Thank you, Jills. Oh, thank you, Glens. Appreciate that. Of course, where did the quote disappear again? Choose love with every breath. There we go, Mike. That's it. That's it, man. That's it. Kevin says it's called mirror work. Oh, Kevin's familiar with that technique.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. Good, man. Like, well, Kevin, of course, Kevin knows mirror work. Can you imagine? Like, what do you think Kevin's socials are like? All the selfies, this bodybuilding Asian with a banana hammock snakes. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of cult following do you have, Kevin? How many 303s? How many thoughts are out there chasing you right now? You got to beat them off with a stick. I'm not talking about your stick, but I'm sure you got to beat them off with a stick, brother. I know it's a lot. Like, we love you, Kevin. Understand, you're our mascot around here. Okay? It's man love. It's not gay. It's man love. All right? We're loving you as a man. That's it. All right?
It's a plantain, man. It's a good plantain. It's like a speedo, but plantain.
So, Carol, yes, some people into these hanging mirrors. Yes, they can. That's another topic. If Adventures with Beth was in the chat, she could direct you to a couple channels that you would love. Because it talks about those specific topics. All right, so I'll take the fucking coil. All right. So I wanted to talk about real quick. You know what? I apologize. Yeah, whatever, coil.
There's no real quick.
Whatever, coil. No, listen. So, okay, then bounce off me in the chat if you need to, Alex. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was really like the idea of the dark empath. And the dark empath is an empath who understands their light and shadow self. They've gone through the healing. They've gone through it with a narcissist. They've overcome, but it's a person who is not afraid to go into their shadow selves when need be. I do this. I call it mirroring back the narcissist. That doesn't mean you become evil. It doesn't be, oh my God, there's Beth. How did you get summoned up, Beth? I don't understand. Did you hear? I'm sorry.
She was in the mirror. We were talking about the devil's in the mirror.
She was in the mirror. Scotty, I'm sorry. You got to give me a second. Jeez, God damn it. How did you sense me? What is it like? You have a tracker on my computer, don't you? Like you're tracking me, aren't you, Beth? Like you're always listening. You're always watching to everything I do. Isn't that it? Like you sensed me like that. The demon spirit. Like the toxicity between us and our horrible train wreck relationship, just sensed and just brought you right to me as soon as I said your name. We were talking about evil entities too, and then you popped up, Beth. Like I don't understand. I don't get this. Is this where we're at? Is this where the harem? Is this the power that the harem now has on Dragonstorm? God damn it! It's good to see you, honey. Yes, we were just talking about what comment was it? Mirror magic. Carol was talking about dark entities and mirrors. You and Nicole, that's your thing. Get up with her. Sounds like a topic she would love. But going back to going back, I'm a strong believer that if you are able to, because I think we're all built different, but if you're able to take everything that you learned from the traumas and all of the suffering that you went through and all of the work you've had to do, like Scott's doing with the mirror work, that the affirmations, untangling your subconscious, becoming a better version of yourself, loving yourself, learning appreciation and gratitude, all of the work, all the dark nights of the soul that you had to go through to get to that point, that gives you true experience with darkness. I would like to reference Star Wars Episode 3. That's okay. Revenge of the Sith. You had this one psychopath, Palpatine, right? The Emperor. This one psychopath who molded a narcissist out of Anakin from his childhood. Daddy issues, mommy issues, abandonment wounds, mommy wounds, the whole bit. Lied to him and groomed him his entire life as he was growing as a Jedi in the Jedi Order. Meanwhile, taking over and becoming into a position of power through manipulation and control, using flying monkeys and third parties in order to become the emperor of the galaxy. That's what a psychopath did. And yet there were a whole group of good people working to service the Republic, the Jedi. I can call them spiritual space monks, wizards with laser swords, spiritual empaths, whatever you want to call them. But they were good. And they were all deceived by one lying, manipulative person. All of them deceived, blinded, because their compassion, their selflessness, their perspective was static. And they could not conceive of someone being that evil. They could not conceive of it. They felt danger, but they wasn't sure where it was coming from. And that psychopath was such a great liar.
It's almost dangerous. Going back to the chart, the bright colors above the green.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost dangerous to live in there if you forget that there is yellow, orange, red, and black.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't stay in such a high vibration all the time if you forget that that's out there wearing a mask.
Yeah. And
that's how all the Jedi, that's how Order 66 took them all out.
That exactly. But I would like to take note, my brother, who was the one Jedi who defeated Palpatine until his flying monkey showed up?
What's his name? He's bald.
Mace.
Yeah, I knew it was an M. Yeah.
So Mace Windu. Was able to defeat Palpatine because the style, the Jedi form, the style that he practiced was called Vapad. Vapad came from an earlier form from thousands of years ago where Jedi actually tapped into their aggression and their passion in order to fight. They actually were familiar with dark side power. So Mace Windu was allowed to study Vapad because he had anger issues. He had the fear and anger issues he had to deal with. And so in order for him to channel those negative emotions into a positive way under Jedi tutelage was to study a form that allowed him to tap into his shadow self, his dark side. So while he was fighting Palpatine, he understood what Palp was going to do. He understood the moves he was making. If you read the literature for Revenge of the Sith and you read that battle scene, you understand that he was mirroring back Palpatine. He was mirroring back the psychopath. He knew what he was going to do before he did it because he understood those energies. He was tapped into them, but he had the advantage because he was his light and shadow self. He's balanced between the two. He understood the light. He understood the dark. And so he defeated that psychopath until his narcissist showed up, his flying monkey showed up and created an imbalance. And then because of deception and lies, Anakin turned because of all the gaslighting and all the manipulation he had been through. Long story short.
So remind me, Anakin is Mace's flying monkey?
No, it's Palpatine's, right? Vader, this is Palpatine and Vader. So when you had the conflict inside Anakin Skywalker, he made the choice when he killed Mace to be a Sith. He made the choice to give in to his narcissistic tendencies, to become like the malignant narcissist of the fucking universe, who was always manipulated by a psychopath. H.G. Tudor himself, I think it was Sam Vaknin who said that, like, in the pecking order of cluster B personality disorders, the psychopaths run. They are the apex predator. They're the T-Rex, of all of them. And so that's the relationship dynamic that I see between the Emperor and Darth Vader. Psychopath, narcissist. And when he made that choice, it unbalanced the engagement. He didn't make the choice to be good. He made the choice to be evil. He unbalanced the engagement. And that's how the psychopath won. That's how evil won and destroyed Mace Windu, the Jedi. So my point being is that if you don't understand those dark places, brothers and sisters, then you can't really find true balance, and you're not going to be able to defend yourself when you really need to. We can all go no contact and walk away. And if you need to do that, if you've been too traumatized, if you've gone through a situation that was just so hellish, the only thing you could do is walk away, escape, and save yourself, then please do it. Protect your peace at all costs. But do not shy away from the fact that you were put through a terrible situation, had to do a lot of shadow work, had to do a lot of go through a lot of dark nights of the soul, understand your darkness in order to integrate it into yourself and become a balanced person. Don't be afraid to dip into that. Don't be afraid to know those dark places, because that will help you. That will help guide you away from danger in the future, but also be a threat to a threatening force if need be. Narcissists deserve no mercy. That's the way I look at it. Liars don't deserve the truth, and fake doesn't deserve real, and narcissists deserve no mercy. Do not be afraid to be a threat. That's basically where I was going with that. We do a lot of work to heal and get to our healed state and love ourselves. Protect your peace at all costs. Do not back down from the belief in yourself, the relationship that you find with yourself. Do not back down from protecting what's yours, your tribe, your family, your mental or emotional state. Do not back down. Do not kneel. And for those of you who only kneel before God, I understand that, but do not kneel. When it comes to a threat, when someone wants to destroy you, sometimes a peace sign and a flower is not going to cut it. Sometimes walking away is not going to cut it, especially if you're dealing with a person who stalks you.
Yeah.
Harasses you. Do never be afraid to be a threat. Stand up for yourself. That does not mean that you are being a narcissist. And that does not mean that you are being evil. Being aggressive and understanding your shadow self and from everything you've been through, protecting your peace, that's paramount. That's not evil. That's taking its protection. That's protecting yourself. So don't be ashamed of that. Don't be ashamed to go to those places. You shouldn't be after everything that you've survived. And that is my speech on Anakin Skywalker killed Mace. He never expected to be betrayed. No, Mace, and that's the thing, right? So that's why I love talking about that situation. That's why Coyle and I are working our way up to Revenge of the Sith. We're doing Sage 7 and Skywalker. We will resume that shortly. Is because that psychopath was done. Emperor Palpatine was dead. Mace had his ass. but the betrayal, and that is the problem when you're dealing with cluster B personality disorders, or deceptive people who triangulate, fabulate, and use those systems in order to achieve. The only reason he won is because he had gaslit Anakin and manipulated him to the point where he made the choice to kill Mace and reject good and become evil, and then convince himself that the Jedi were evil. You know what I mean? Like watch that again. Like I love Star Wars. The creation of a narcissist, Anakin Skywalker, dealing with Sheev Palpatine. I'm telling you. And so that is just about it. Scotty, is there anything that you would like to promote?
Not really. You know, I'm not very self-promoting, right?
All right. Are you still working on your Christian mystery and channel, hidden mysteries and?
Oh yeah.
Channel.
Yeah, I just put a video up today. I mean, and just it had to do with the Middle East. Donald Trump just hit. He went. The video I made, it was only 8 minutes long, but it was just a quick like news update kind of thing. And Donald Trump today, he left a tweet, not a tweet, but you know, like a truth, and he's literally doing like exactly what you just said. Joe Biden was a total pansy when it came to the terrorists in Yemen, the Houthis, and they block like the Red Sea and all that the shipping channels in there. They're like pirates, and like we can't get anything, like billions of dollars. They steal anything we try to get through there. It's a big problem. It's like literally pirates. And Joe Biden, like America, we haven't been able to send anything through there, and it's really important shipping channels for the world. And Donald Trump just like literally right now, the bombs are going off. There's there's airstrikes.
Shit.
There's airstrikes and he's sending the military warships, and the missiles are flying, and he's obliterating these terrorists right now. So what is he doing? He's standing up. He's like a dark empath, or he's at least maybe not dark empath, but he's he's like full on alpha male. A Sigma. He's like a Sigma, and he's not taking any crap. You can't negotiate with terrorists. You can't back down. You can't give them a peace sign. It's exactly what you just said. Trump is standing up to these terrorists. They're all narcissists. They're all traumatized as children. That's why they turn into these.
Absolutely, it's horrible. Yeah.
In the Middle East, they literally like ruin their children, and they all turn into psycho. That's why they're nuts over there. And so he's obliterating. He's literally like a one-man war on terrorism, but and he's just in office, 40-something days? He's literally every day, he's just bam, bam, bam. He's going to make America great again. Like he's rocking it. And he's doing exactly what you just said. He's literally standing up, and he's not a narcissist himself for doing it, but he's standing up to the evil, which is exactly what you just said. And so Trump, like on the political spectrum right now, that's what's going on right now. And he's changing the game, and it's going to be so much better by next year. Next year is the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, and he's going to have in 1776, 2026. So next year is the on April 4 or July 4th of July 2026 is the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, and he's planning a year-long party. And so we're in preparation of getting America ready for its party. And so by next summer, a little over a year, it starts this huge party. And so he's cleaning up the world so that he's going to bring in peace. So there's no problems, so that we can celebrate over here. And he announced that he's going to, as a first step, he's going to obliterate taxes for anyone who makes less than $150,000 a year.
That is so good. Yo, oh my God!
And eventually, no one will pay taxes.
We got to do a rogue,
because it's all gonna be tariffs. Nobody's gonna pay taxes, and then we're gonna get rid of this fiat currency, which is paper and meaningless, and we're gonna go back to everyone holding gold in our hands and exchanging that, because right now we all feel kind of like losers because we just use paper. And he's changing America. Like, he has a vision. He's a visionary. He has a vision for America that none of us can hardly comprehend. But if you put your mind to it, you're not even touching it. Think of the best possibilities for this
Mhm.
country and for your life starting next year, and you're not even touching it yet. America is going to be, look, this is these hats, there's millions of these everywhere. This is a lifestyle, and we haven't even scratched the surface of understanding what we're wearing on our heads. But it's literally that he's preparing for this, but he's also got to clean up the world first, and he's going to clean up the world like this. And so that's what's going on.
We're going to do a Rogue Entertainment one of these weeks so I can get all political, because I don't want to get political, but yeah, everything you're saying. All I'm going to say is watch the moves. You know what I mean? Things are going to get better. Things are already getting better where that's concerned. And so, yeah, tell them where to find your channel, Scotty. Tell them about your channel or where to find it.
Oh, the one that I made is called Eternal Rhythm Flow. I'll type it in the thing, or can I? It's just the 3 words: Eternal Rhythm Flow.
Yeah,
Rhythm
go
is,
ahead and type it in there. Yeah. Guys, please make sure if you're into biblical, ancient Christian mysteries, hidden histories, please check out Scotty.
And also, I'm starting to make videos about the flat Earth. It's literally the greatest lie. It's the greatest lie on Earth. We're not on a globe, and I have to tell everybody because they're lying to everybody.
All right, bro. All right, please, guys, check that out too. Looking forward to that content, dude. If you guys would not mind, and share this out if you can. Listen, God, I never ever in my life wanted to put out another GoFundMe. All right, but this time is a little bit different. I can't go into everything happened. I've had recent losses in my life that I haven't been able to, that we haven't even had time to mourn from. Or mourn over. And out of nowhere, last week we found out we were losing the place that we were staying at, and we have most of the money to get in for the deposit in the first month's rent, but we need everything by Wednesday. And so if you're able to share it out, pitch in whatever you can, I'd greatly appreciate that. I'm only going to take what I need. So when I get to where I need to get to, I'm just going to delete the GoFundMe. But yeah, share it out if you would, please. I'm sorry to ask again, and I wouldn't be doing it if we weren't trying every single thing that we needed to, sacrificing everything that we need to in order to get to this point. And I greatly appreciate you guys and your support. Help if you can, share if you will. And other than that, please make sure to check out Scotty's channel, check out Immortal Coil. Make sure to love yourself. Do not doubt yourself. And no matter what life throws in your way, no matter what obstacle comes in your way, you fight through it. You don't stop. You don't relent. Always believe in yourself. You dealt with too much. You dealt with a hoovering hobgoblin and everything that person put you through, whether it was a family dynamic or a string of lovers or a lover or someone who destroyed you and tried to destroy your worth and keep you down under a heel. You came up from that. Be proud of yourself. No matter where you are on your healing journey, no matter how far you've come, no matter what obstacles you need to still get through, over, beyond, break apart, you've gotten this far. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of those achievements. That means a lot. Every single step means something. Every step. And if you believe it or not, there are people around you that see what you have overcome and see the changes you have made and the direction that you are going in, and they are inspired by it, even if they don't say anything. Because leading by example is the greatest gift that you can give to someone else, brothers and sisters. It's the greatest gift. It's the greatest show. And doing it for yourself, not for others, but doing it for yourself. Never stop believing in who you are. Never stop dictating your boundaries. Never accept less than your own worth, or Girth if you're Kevin Yang. Never accept less than you should be given. Believe in yourself. Be compassionate. Be loving, but hold those strong boundaries. Do not be afraid to execute your shadow self when need be. And never, ever be afraid to be a threat. I am Lodonis, Ravenwolf, Dragonstorm, you seer and sage. Hail to my fellow survivors and thrivers from narcissistic abuse. Please remember to wash your hands, wash your ass, be good to each other, yet suffer no fools.
God tells me he can get me out of this mess, but he's pretty sure you're fucked.
And please remember to clean your peen out there, gentlemen. Clean your peen. All right. These women have been through a lot. Narcissists have dirty dicks. All right. They're covered in fruit flies. They put them in other men's butts. All right. Narcissists, men are gay. All right. These ladies deserve clean peen. So please make sure to manscape that shit. Clean your goddamn peen. Be a good goddamn person. All right. It doesn't take much. That's exactly it. My love to y'all. My God.